Okay, so before or habang nag-join in.
Kaya mo na ba mag-present test?
Yes, I'm just sharing just starting my presentation.
Naka-ano na siya, naka-share na sa'yo. You can share. Lipat ako sa mobile. Wait, leave muna ako rin.
Alright.
Ako na magpipindot ng record. Naka-record na pala. Okay. Sige.
Actually, share dito guys. Okay. Good morning. I'm here today to talk about accountancy and other things. So my name is Nazarrea. I'm a CPA and I have various titles under my belt. So hopefully what I can share with you today will help you sort of get an insight on what you would expect by taking accountancy. I heard from your professor that at least half of the class is taking accountancy. So hopefully it helps. Okay. Just before we start, you can actually call me Des or Ate Des kasi hindi naman tayo nakakalayo na age. So for just an introduction of myself or background, I'm a certified public accountant. I graduated with a degree of BS Accountancy from Hiram College in 2013, and I also got my certification, or I also passed and got my certification for the CPA licensure exam in 2015. Ever since I started working, I've been in the IT security profession. So I veered away from the normal accountancy track and went into IT audit. So I've had over 7 years of experience in IT security and in auditing in general. So apart from that, I'm also a gamer and a hobbyist. So ever since I was a kid, I've been playing games and I have a lot of hobbies. So pwedeng magkaroon ng pwedeng mag-games kahit nag-aaral ng accountancy or in the accounting profession. Okay. So since you guys are incoming or some of you guys are incoming accountancy students, sorry, this is a typo. So what to expect is supposed to be what to expect. So for me, kasi nung nag-start ako ng accountancy or I chose accountancy as a course, I did not know what to expect. Kasi hindi kasi ako sure that time what I wanted to take as my undergraduate degree. And sinabi lang sa akin na, uy, maganda yung accountancy. So, okay. And then, so pumasa ako. So, thankful, pumasa naman ako dun sa entrance exam. Kasi for the accountancy entrance exam, there's actually a higher passing requirement. And not everybody gets to enter the accountancy degree. Although, konti lang naman yung difference dun sa, I think, sa normal na entrance exam. Just meron lang grade or passing score. Anyway, so ayun, I entered Hello? Saan ako nawala?
Sige lang, continue.
Sorry, nakamute ako kanina. Nawala ba ako? I forget or I don't know saan ako nag-stop.
Yung pumasok ka ng accountancy.
Okay. Sabi ko, hindi ko alam kung ano na yun sa accountancy. Right. Am I still sharing my screen? So this is one of the pitfalls of having online classes kasi ang stable ng connection. Pero I'm still sharing. Okay. So, as I said, when I entered accountancy, I did not know what to expect. And, so, hindi ko, or, you guys are lucky to have accountancy as a subject as part of high school kasi at least you would know or you have a glimpse of what will happen when you or as you push through the degree. So I will share my experience studying accountancy, studying for the board exam, and after getting those sweet letters. So, as I mentioned, I entered BS Accountancy in Miran College. So, we actually had a very small class. So, in the first year around nasa 30, so 30 lang kami or less than 30 yung sa section namin. And for the entire school, meron ng 2 sections. So, this is my class back then. So, it was an all-girls school. And the nice thing about all-girls school is that, so, as compared to co-ed, exclusive schools, parang you have more freedom to act like yourself. And you, it empowers women. Kasi parang you don't need anyone. You don't need guys to carry stuff for you. And you do it on your own. So, and there was actually a study na girls in exclusive schools, parang mas nagiging vocal sila with their opinions, with what they think is right, parang ganun. Kasi, wala silang iniisip na kailangan magpakit kay ganito, ganyan. So, ayun. Anyway. So, as an accounting student, you spend most of your time reading books, answering exams. It's actually, I think, it's the course na you don't, sorry. Sorry kasi may construction sa baba. Okay. So, you spend more time studying and answering exams than any of the other courses. Kasi the course is preparing you for an exam. So, studying accountancy does not just end in the classroom. There is a certification exam or a licensure exam afterwards. Kaya mas focus or mas strict yung teaching method sa accountancy. It's also one of the hardest courses na Latin honors kung gusto mo mag cum laude or whatever. Kasi the scores are test-based. So, if madami kang mali sa courses, extra work will not get you additional grades. So, it's mostly about exams. And one of the hardest things about accountancy is there's a grade requirement. So, um, so I think for our course, parang normally kasi, the passing grade is like 75. And then for accountancy, it's 80 or 85, depending on the subject, especially for the major subjects. Um, and may grade retention requirement. So if you don't meet your grade, um, there is a high chance na you would be forced you'd be forced to shift your course. So, dito sa class picture namin na to, I think about half ang nag-shift ng course or nag-change ng schools. Kasi merong other schools na mas, mas, hindi naman sa mas madali, pero mas lenient sila sa grades. So, I think that was one thing that prompted um, some people to change courses. The saddest thing about it is, every year may natatanggal. So, up until the final year, may natatanggal sa accountancy program. And parang survival of the fittest talaga siya. or kung sino pinakamagaling mag-aral. Although I was not one of the people na magaling mag-aral. Kasi, binili pa din utak ko. Pero as compared to when I was in high school and just sa mga minor subjects, it's one of the subjects na parang kailangan talaga mag-puwet minsan. Anyway, so this second picture, that puts me or before one of our subjects. So as part of accountancy, we'll also have to learn about law. So there are, I think, four classes of law, and this was one of them. So since napupuyat sa pag-aaral or other things, and there's really so much to digest. So sometimes, or magkakaroon talaga ng time sa with sleep, like in between classes. Sometimes in classes. Okay. And then, every year, depende sa school, every year meron ding qualifying exams. So, what are qualifying exams? Parang it's an exam at the end of the year or at the start of the year or parang summer ata yung summer na parang to check what you have learned for the year. If you have learned the certain concepts that were taught during the year. So, regardless kung anong subject, kung magkahalo-halo sila. Or minsan, hiwa-hiwalay sila na subjects. Pero, yung coverage na is not just one quarter. So, it's important for you to retain what you have learned. It's not one of those subjects na after ko aralin today, okay lang, kahit makalimutan ko, kasi hindi ko naman gagamitin. So, accountancy is not one of that. So, from the start up until the end, up until you graduate, get your board, or take your board, get your license, and work. Those are the concepts that you would need to remember, taken to heart. So, for the last photo, so as part of our curriculum, we also had an internship program or on-the-job training. Luckily, we were, or at the time, we were partnered with some auditing firms. So the Big Four did not accept, or at the time, they did not accept OJTs. So in our case, we were partnered with BDO Alba. So not to be confused with BDO in the bank. So the local firm affiliated with BDO, so allowed us, so parang half of the class ata yung nag-enter into an internship with them. So in our case, so for my friends and I, um, we were lucky to enter the, so parang in auditing there's or in auditing firms there are actually different services that's being offered by the firms. So you have auditing, so which is the usual testing of accounting books and records, and um, giving an opinion with regards to their financial statements. And then you also have advisory services. So advisory services, parang more of um, due diligence, management reporting, overall consulting with regards to the business. And it also includes sometimes parang IT advisory, um, or parang kung ano yung gusto nilang maging process improvements, parang it serves as an independent party or an expert party to give businesses an idea on how to better manage their business. And then you also have taxation. So for taxation, they have individual or corporate clients. So for corporate clients, it's usually um, the firm helping out the organization file their taxes and compute for their taxes. And sometimes they work alongside audit kasi the audit team would provide them with the audited financial statements. So ayun. So we were lucky enough to join the advisory services team. Um, for for OJTs, not it's not usually, or it's not usual for firms to allow students to go on field work. And for our case, we were lucky kasi na-deploy kami sa isang client sa Laguna. So there were 5 of us. Tapos sinabi lang sa amin nung firm na wag namin sabihin na students kami. Sabihin namin na CPAs kami. Kasi generally hindi siya allowed. So habang yung mga friends namin nasa office, nag file ng reports, nagpe-prepare ng nagte-tape ng envelopes, and parang normal office work. Kami nasa labas kami, nag-OJT kami. We were there for a couple of weeks. And we also apart from that, nag-deploy din kami sa isang hospital sa Muntinlupa. So we got to experience the field work and the inventory count and those things na usually parang ma-experience mo lang after you graduate when you get to the accounting or the auditing profession. So for me, wait lang. So may tanong ng prof nyo. But I will answer that in the next slide, actually. So after accountancy, so buti nakapasa. So sa photo na to, there's actually 5 of us students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, 3 sa amin yung pumasa or nakatapos sa accountancy degree. So ito, after graduating, it's you get 6 months to review for the licensure exam. So there are a few, or a lot actually, a lot of review schools, but the top review schools are in UBelt in Manila. So For me, initially, kasi mas Katipunan ako nakatira before. So, I had to commute all the way to Manila every day. And nakakapagod siya. Um, so, para hindi na mapagod sa biyahe. Kasi after bumiyahe, di ba, hindi ka din naman nakapag-aral na maayos. So, pumasok ako nag-dorm ako malapit sa review school. So, I entered CPAR or CPA Review School. It's actually one of the best review schools in the country. The reason why, kasi yung reviewers, yun din yung authors ng books. So, in the second photo, you can actually see these two gentlemen. The first one is actually the legendary Valix. He wrote books on theory of accounts and financial accounting. Magiging Bible niya yung books niya. And then on the right is his son. So ang tawag namin sa kanila during review, si Daddy Valix, si Baby Valix. So you will get to know them more or read their works when you enter accountancy. So, syempre, kailangan may photo ko. And apart from those two, madami pang reviewers na authors ng books na mamimit kayo sa review school na if you ever decide to go to that school. Another big review school is also RESA. I forget what it stands for. Pero, and then, for the exam itself, they actually have, or they collate questions coming from the different review schools. Tapos, parang minimix nila dun sa exam questions sa actual board exam. So, sometimes, there would be questions similar to what you've learned in review school at saka dun sa exam itself. So, it's a good idea to go into review school. Minsan may mga nag-self-study, which is actually really hard. So, hindi ko siya i-recommend. And then, meron ding iba na nagdo-double review. Parang mag-aaral sila for two semesters before sila mag-take, just to be sure na mag-take or makapag-take sila. Unfortunately for the exam, there's a very low. There's a low passing rate. Out of thousands to take the exam, dun sa batch namin, only 40% pass the exam. Sometimes people take the exam twice, thrice. Kapag binagsak yung exam on the third try, you would have to go to parang a refresher course na mas detailed as compared to the review. For the review itself, usually nahati siya sa dalawang schedules. So there's morning or three schedules. Mayroong mornings, mayroong afternoons, and mayroong Saturdays for those who are working. So for my case, I got the afternoon session. So ang usual routine ko nun, gigising ako ng umaga. Supposedly mag-aaral ako, pero kakain ako. Tapos, mag-aaral ako ng konti, siguro mga few minutes. Siguro half an hour. And then, maliligo, mag-prepare. Tapos, kakain. Tapos, mag-start yung exam. Mag-start yung review at around 1 p.m. Tapos, if you would think na mabilis yung classes sa high school, mas mabilis yung classes sa college. if mabilis yung classes sa college, mas mabilis yung classes sa review school. So, you really can't relax or pati dapat nag-aaral. So, dapat consistent yung study schedule nyo. So, for me, what worked well was after after the review school, mga around 5 p.m., maikli lang yung review, di ba? Parang 4 hours lang. Tapos, ang dami yung kailangan i-cover. Parang isang chapter in a book or 2 chapters minsan in a book yung kailangan nyo i-cover in 1 afternoon. And then, hindi pa yon 1 class in just 4 hours. It's I think mga 3 to 4 classes in 1 hour. So you have less than an hour to go through a chapter sa review school. So what worked well for me was studying after review school. So since malapit lang naman ako naka-board. So before bumalik yung mga dormmates ko, before sila bumalik, mag-aaral muna ako. So pagkabalik nila, tapos na ako mag-aaral. Kasi some of them would stay dun sa study area ng review school and dun sila mag-aaral with some of their friends. That did not work for me. So you would have to find out what's the study method or technique that would work best for you. And then, so kapag nakabalik na sila around mga 6, 7 p.m., so mag-start na kaming magkwentuhan, ganyan. Kumain. So after kumain, the funny thing about me when I was reviewing was, kasi meron kaming table sa gitna. And then we had a lot of books. So I would prepare my book. My notes, my review materials. And then mag-aaral ako ng konti. Tapos maya tulog na ako dun sa table. Tapos kapag nagising ako, babalik ako sa higaan. So, pinagtatawanan na nila ako kasi bakit daw ako, ba't daw parati akong tulog? Kasi parang hindi daw ako nag-aaral. Kasi di nila nakikita na nag-aaral ako kasi wala sila. Ayun. So actually, first photo, this was the exam day for the licensure exam. So, for the licensure exam, you would get assigned to different schools. So, merong schools na kinukuha, different schools na kinukuha para kung saan kayo mag-e-exam. And these are scheduled on weekends. So, merong 4 days for the exam. 3 full days and 1 half day in my case. I'm not sure kung paano na ngayon. Pero I believe there was an added subject. So, before kasi, magkasama yung taxation and law. So, I think magkaiwalay na sila ngayon. So, it's 4 full days. Supposedly, you would get the result of the exam the day after. Dun sa batch namin, I think nagkaroon ng changes sa board or sa members of the board. Kaya natagalan yung announcement nila ng classes. So, ayun. So, after review school, you'd pass the exam. Usually, review schools would have firms would usually invite board passers. Sometimes for big schools, they would invite the students before they even pass the exam. So like I believe for the likes of UP, Lasal, they get treated to lunch with by some partners from the different firms, or invited for a corporate tour of the firm parang to get an idea of what it looks like and sort of parang ma-entice sila to join that firm. Kasi especially for sorry. Hello? Narinig na ako. Hello?
Miss Des, nakat ka dun sa yung UP, yung may meeting.
Okay. Sige. Okay. So, for big schools, for like UP, ganyan, UP, LaSalle, USC, they would invite the students for a lunch out with sometimes with the partner or in the organization for a corporate tour to see the environment, what it looks like, and tell them parang what the organization can offer. Kasi especially for top-notchers, they parang nag-uunahan yung firms to get them to join the organization. Ayun. So for me, since maliit lang kasi yung namin. Well, maliit lang yung class namin na nag-review during that time. And so wala din ata kami masyadong contact sa firms during that time. Kaya hindi din kami na-invite dun sa mga corporators, fortunately. Anyway, so after passing the board, they would usually invite people over to work with those firms. If you're not one of them, so we'd go through the normal parang hiring and interview process. So, how long does it take for you to get into your first work? For us, mabilis lang. After the board exam, after you get your scores, magsa-start na kayong maghanap ng work. Kasi meron lang din silang finifill na numbers. Excuse me. So, minsan, hindi din lahat naka-hire kasi hindi naman pwedeng hire ng companies ng lahat na mag-apply sa kanila, di ba? And then, mayroong interview process and so, interviews for work would first go through HR, interview then HR, after HR, one of the managers from the department that you are applying to. And then, usually kung sino yung boss nyo or head of the department or sino yung partner if it's the case of auditing firms. So, going into the. So, after you pass the board, you can either go into public practice or auditing, private practice or in private organizations. You can go into academe or so academe would be teaching, accountancy, and or you can go to government. Usually for passers ng board, usually pumapasok ng public practice or private practice. So for private practice, the reason why people would not go to the auditing kasi hindi sila or usually mas higher yung pay sa private practice, and it's common knowledge in the field that it takes so much work to go into public practice. It's not the usual 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 na work. So parang minsan or madalas actually, you would be in the office for 12 hours or more. Kasi madaming work and somehow konti yung tao. or masyadong madaming clients yung firms and they have very little people. So usually yung madami kang accounts na i-handle or madaming clients and iba-ibang meetings and then madami ding field work na kailangan pupunta ka sa clients to do the audit itself. Kaya minsan, they would go to private practice. And then, yung, I'm not, sa batch namin, I don't know of anyone who entered the academy right after passing the board. It's unusual. It's usually something that you would do after you've gained more experience or knowledge in the field. And then for government, of course, it's always an option. Masa ng BIR, ganun. COMA. Anyway, so for me, I chose public practice or auditing. Pero, I did not go the usual path. So, like I mentioned earlier, hindi ko gusto or parang wala akong idea kung ano yung accountancy before I entered. But, I had interest in computers since I love playing games. So, there is an option in auditing to go into IT audit. It's still auditing, but instead of looking through their books, doing the inventory count, you would audit the IT department or their accounting systems. So usually now for organizations, hindi na uso yung manual na journal entries, manual na bookkeeping. It's mostly automated.
Excuse lang, Mides, nakakat ka konti. Nakakat ka lang konti.
Okay,
After
so,
dun sa computer science, I think.
sige. Ayun. So, I went, I got into auditing because I liked, or IT audit kasi I had an interest in computers. So, and it was one of the interesting subjects when I was in undergrad. And I thought, okay, this is the field I want to go into. Kasi in accounting, there's so many, there's so many fields you can go into, diba? I mentioned earlier, auditing, private practice. You can go into taxation, advisory, and ayun. So, ang daming tracks na pwedeng kunin. And for me, since na-experience ko na kasi yung usual na inventory count during OJT, parang hindi na siya something interesting for me. So, I went into IT audit. So this is these are the organizations that I work for or working for. So I started my first job in KPMG. I stayed there for about 2 years, and then I went into Shell, which is an oil and gas company, and I stayed there for I think less than 3 years. After that, I entered Oracle NetSuite. It's a cloud-based provider. It's a global business unit under Oracle. Oracle is one of the largest IT provider. They have database management solutions, softwares, and such. And then for my current job, it's a financial services firm. Pero confidential siya kasi nasa contract ko na kailangan siyang i-keep confidential. Okay. So, KPMG, this is my first work. So what should you expect if you go into auditing? So, auditing, hindi ka mas-stay every day sa office. There would be a lot of clients that you would go to do your do interviews and gathering of evidence to support the assessments that you make. So for the first photo, this is one of the engagements that I was assigned to. So this was For our team, actually, apat kami from IT audit, and we work hand in hand with the financial audit team. So the financial audit team would do the inspection of the books, and do their substantive testing, or parang iti-test nila kung tama ba yung mga transactions or how transactions are being recorded in para mag-come up dun sa mga financial statements. As for me and yung mga teammates ko, we check whether pwedeng mag-rely or yung financial statements or yung financial audit team dun sa systems or mga softwares na ginagamit ng company. So, since yung recording of financial transactions, automated na siya or it's being done using a computer system, yun yung tinetest namin kung reliable yung systems nila. Ayun. So, this was actually one of the engagements that I had. So, it's a factory for a milk manufacturer. Tapos kasi, if you go into the warehouse, kailangan meron kang safety equipment. And since malaking warehouse siya, we had to wear safety boots, and that day naka-dress out. So, ayun, may mga ganong experiences. And then the other photo, I mentioned earlier, there's usually corporate tours for incoming CPAs. So one of the activities that I liked doing when I was working there was giving the corporate tours, para explaining to the students or yung mga magte-take ng board exams what's up in the firm. Ayun. So we were friends with HR, and they would tap us for or to do those kinds of corporate engagements. Ayun. So ayun siya. There's still a lot more. Pero yun yung usual na cycle. Magpupunta ka sa audit clients, you would do the assessments there, you'd go back to the office, and parang i-write yung kung ano yung nalaman nyo. So parang lahat ng na info na nag-gather nyo from the field work, kailangan nyo siyang i-document, kailangan nyo siyang isulat kasi yun yung magiging basis para mag-come up dun sa assessment, para dun sa financial audit. So, ayun. And most people would not be in the office kapag audit season. And then kapag hindi naman audit seasons, there are still those clients na iba yung reporting period nila or iba yung end of year nila, parang ganun. Instead of using January to December dun sa financial statements nila, pwedeng nasa gitna. Minsan mag-end yung calendar nila ng mga June, ganun. So, meron pa ding mga ganong clients kahit na mid-year. Okay. And then, so, after a couple of years, so, going back, audit, taxation period is usually happens, parang ang busy season is end of December up until April. Kasi April 15 is the BIR tax filing. So sobrang busy ng mga tao from December up until April kasi hahabulin yung deadline. And like I mentioned, hindi parang usual na madami kang clients at the same time. So, ayun. So, yun yung tinatawag na busy season. After ng busy season, makikita mo na yung mga tao sa office. Madami na ulit tao sa office. Minsan, nagkakaubusan pa ng upuan. So, thankfully dun sa department namin, meron ako sarili upuan. Yeah. So, after after ko sa KPMG, I got the opportunity to join a pioneer team in Shell. So at the time, parang meron silang parang internal audit function na ginagawa ni SGV. So SGV is one of the biggest firms locally. So meron silang parang department halos na si SGV yung gumagawa. And then their contract ended ng 2015. So Shell had to hire pang a whole new parang department or a sub department to do the work that was being previously done by SGB. So in KPMG, I was doing external IT audit. So nag-check ng system sa mga clients. And then for Shell, since this is already a private organization, so I started doing internal IT audit or internal IT audit and compliance. And yung reports na ginagawa namin for Shell was being checked by external auditors, yung mga ng KPMG, and Deloitte, PwC, and such. So parang ako na yung nagiging interviewee. Ay, hindi naman dumating sa point na yun, pero parang ganun, yung department namin, nagiging interviewee ng mga external auditor. So, ayun. So this was our team and a few friends. So, I think when they started, there was less than 20 of us. So, before nung ginagawa siya ng SGV, I think around 50 sila. So, nung kami na yung gumagawa, less than 20 na kami. So, honestly, mas busy ako nung nandun ako sa Shell than when I was in external. And minsan, may times nandun ako natutulog sa office. Kasi meron silang lounge area or tulugan. So, tapos meron din silang shower. So, doon ako naliligo. Anyway, ayun. So, we had more interactions with our counterparts. Since it's a global organization, mga kausap namin are from different locations. And I worked mid-shift when I was there, working from 3 p.m. to 12 p.m. Luckily, mayroon silang shuttle service na naghahatid dun sa bahay ng mga naka-mid-shift or naka-night shift minsan. Ayan. So, when I was there, so this was my team. So, ito yung boss ko, my manager, my mentor, and my teammates. So, kami yung best team dun sa team namin, which is this one, meron pang sub-teams covering different businesses. So, I was doing upstream. Or yung mga nagdidig ng oil. Nagdidig ng oil, ganyan. So, meron systems silang ginagamit. So, yun yung parang focus namin when I was there. And then, ang dami ding activities nung nandun kami. So, parang siyang school, actually. May monthly activities. Tapos, minsan, we would have parang team building activities. And since Shell put a lot of importance in safety of the people, so yung mga team building namin, nasa office lang. So, we had to put in extra brain cells kung paano mag-work yung team building na nasa office lang. So this is one of the team buildings in the bigger department that we were in, which was controllers organization, that we prepared. So I was actually one of the facilitators and organizers for that event. Anyway, so yun, fun. So it's not all work, and sometimes it's also play. Okay, so after Shell, I was actually supposed to, before I joined Oracle NetSuite. I was actually supposed to be promoted to manager. But then, so I had to weigh pros and cons between having manager position or learning more. So, kasi kapag when you're in bigger organizations, mas focus yung ginagawa ng mga tao. Or parang, ito lang yung usual ko na nakikita. Or ito yung processes na mayroon akong visibility on. And maliit yung chances of getting to see or having experience on other functions. So, I wanted to learn more. That's why lumipat ako sa Oracle NetSuite. Kasi there were still a lot of so as you work, kailangan din kasi siyang sabayan ng studying. And the field itself is continuously growing. And there's a lot to learn. So, hindi nag-i-end sa board exam yung pag-aaral. Ang daming standards na lumalabas na kailangan aralin. So, that's why I entered this organization. Kasi they gave free trainings. They covered trainings na gusto mo. Depende kung ano yung applicable. So, this photo is actually one of the conferences that they sent us to. It was a security or IT security forum that was held in Singapore sa Marina Bay Sands. So, ito yung conference area. And then, you're also deployed to different locations sometimes to perform the audit. So this was the last photo. This was one of the trips to HQ. So we also had a chance to explore San Francisco habang ginagawa yung parang fieldwork. Parang yun na yung fieldwork for private organizations. Going to different offices. We were there for, I think, a couple of weeks. Pero yung, kasi kapag pupunta kayo sa, sa ibang offices, so you would expect na everything you would need to do in that office, kailangan yung gawin. So, sobra siyang nakakapagod. Kaya after 1 week pa lang sabi ko, gusto ko na umuwi. Ayun. So when I was in Oracle, I got to learn more about the different standards, different standards in the professions. Learn more about the different certifications. Although I already had an idea, pero when I was there, I had a more detailed parang learning. And so if anybody of you would know about privacy regulations, Data Privacy Act, if you would know that, there's the Data Privacy Act of 2002 or 4, yung Philippine privacy law. It's actually based on General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, which is a regulation or a law that was implemented in EU countries. So when I was there, I was also part of so I was not just doing IT security, I was also doing privacy compliance. So it was part of the team who implemented the privacy requirements para mag-comply yung organization dun sa laws to be implemented in EU. So it's not just the local office. It's for the global operations. So that's actually one of the reasons why we had to go to HQ. Ayun. So it's usual nakakapagod, but it's not always work. It's also play. And meron silang binibigay na allowance for people going into other countries. Or maliit lang. Parang you have a certain parang maximum limit kung how much you can spend doing activities. Ayun. So now, I'm in a financial services institution. So hindi na ako nag-audit pa rin ako. Pero konti na lang. So I'm doing controls assessments and management reports. So these reports are being looked at by senior management, by yung leaders namin from senior management. So yun yung ginagawa ko ngayon. It's very detailed and very strict sa pag-prepare ng reports. So hindi na siya yung I can get to do different activities kung kailan ko gusto. Ano na siya, parang regular reports that I have to produce. And ayun, so I actually started in this company last year lang. So fresh pa siya. So wala din talaga akong photos from this company. Kasi ever since I started, I work from home ako. Ayun. So yun yung journey ko with accountancy. I actually also took up MBA while I was in Shell, and I finished it last year. Pero hindi na kasi siya masyado relevant sa accountancy. Ayan. So what does it take for people to succeed in the organization? The number one thing is strong written and oral communication. So as I mentioned, madaming interviews na nangyayari. I'm still doing those kinds of interviews up until now. And you would have to be able to communicate well with the auditee or the person you're interviewing for para magkaintindihan kayo, for you to find out what you need to find out in any type of assessment. And apart from that, strong written communication as well. Kasi kailangan mong i-write down kung ano yung information na nakuha mo. The second thing is organization and attention to detail. So one of the key traits of accountants or what's needed is attention to detail. So small mistakes sometimes can lead to big issues. So we would have to always check for those. And as an accountant, merong term na usually ginagamit yung kailangan magbangga, kailangan balance yung accounts mo. Yun. And then analytical and problem solving skills. Hindi siya simple, straightforward computations. Usually you would have to analyze what the data means, or you have to interpret those data that you gather or work with. And for problem solving skills, if there are gaps in the processes, you would have to find out, or parang hindi kasi enough na sabihin mo lang na ito yung problema sa current na ginagawa mo. Kailangan mo din magbigay ng solution. Kailangan mo din mag-suggest. Ayun. And then time management. Since ang dami ang work, kailangan parating on top of what you're doing. So kailangan ma-manage mo yung ilang time yung spend mo sa isang activity. Ayun. So systems analysis, so as I mentioned, puro yung activities or transactions are all done in the system now. So kaya kailangan marunong ka din mag-handle or manage ng systems, or madali mo siyang matutunan. Okay. So mathematical and deductive reasoning, critical thinking, parang basic na siya. Parang you would have to have a critical thinking for you to be able to properly analyze situations. Kasi hindi siya just like the books. Madaming mangyayari during your career na hindi siya written in the book. So you would have to find solution on your own, or seek expert opinion, or form your opinion. Kasi that's how you learn. And last is active learning. Active learning is going out of your way um, to really learn the subject. Kasi you would not become an expert if you don't um, learn, or if you don't read through yung mga boring na mga books, yung if you would not find or look for um, trainings, ganyan, if you don't join in trainings, kailangan as you go through your career, kailangan mag-aaral pa din. So, it's not, hindi siya, accountancy is not a course for people who don't like learning. I don't like studying, but I like learning. So, it's different. Gusto ko natututo ako, pero tamad ako mag-aaral. So, there are ways to circumvent that. Ayun. So, things to look out for as you enter accountancy and as you enter the profession. So, karamihan na ng accounting processes na yun automated or computerized, and nagkakaroon na din ngayon ng robots in the office. So, hindi ito yung robots na nakikita mo or yung parang sa movies ganyan. These are dedicated machines na gumagawa ng repetitive processes. So, para mabawasan yung human interactions. So, madami nang na-implement ngayon na robots sa offices. And it's actually cutting down people. Hindi naman sa inaano sila sa pinafire or anything. It actually gives people more chances to do activities that would require critical thinking or would not be done by a robot in a repetitive manner. Meron din outsourcing of accounting functions. So, minsan yung mga companies, hindi na sila nagkakaroon ng, or hindi na sila nagkikip ng accounting department sa offices nila. So, binibigay na nila or pinapagawa nila sa ibang companies, sa ibang companies yung accounting nila para hindi na nila kailangan or minsan kasi yung ibang companies meron silang mas expertise, kaya hindi na nila kinikip yung parang yung knowledge within the organization. So, pinapagawa lang sa iba. And then cloud-based accounting. So, madaming systems for accounting na available. And uso na ngayon yung pwede mong buksan yung systems just using Chrome or Firefox na hindi mo na kailangan physically nasa office. Dati kasi kailangan nasa office ka lang. Ayun. Or nasa certain computers lang yung software. Ayun. So, big data and data analytics. So, more focus ang binibigay sa data na available. You'd have to analyze the data that you gather from your customers para makapag-offer ka ng better solution or more tailored solution. That's essentially what data analytics is for. And then, so meron na din yung mga, yung mga cryptocurrencies, ganyan. So, blockchain is also one of the trends right now. Parang, essentially, mga transactions niya, pinuput into blocks or ginugroup together yung mga transactions na hindi na siya nag-need ng traditional na transaction recording. Ayun. And then, meron din syempre remote work setting. So, accountancy and other professions actually, hindi na siya lahat kailangan on-site. So, ayun. So, kailangan nag-a-adjust yung organizations and employees sa remote work setting. Ayun. So, actually, yun na yung ending ng presentation ko. Actually, ang haba pala. Akala ko maikli lang siya. Ayun. So, yun na yung end ng presentation. So, I actually want you guys to ask anything from me. Kung ano yung may hindi kayo nag-gets, ganyan, or mayroon pa kayong gustong malaman.
Class, kindly ask the guest speaker kung ano yung mga insights na gusto niya pang malaman. Baka meron pa siyang hindi na i-cover na topics. Huh? Don't be shy.
Hello, Nicole.
Hello po. Ask ko lang po, di ba po yung bago po kayong maging CPA, yung nagtatrabaho na po kayo, nagkaroon po ba kayo ng fear na yung alam niyo po, hindi ko po alam kung sa akin lang ba to, or yung fear po na magkakamali ka po dun sa gagawin mo po, ganun.
Sa work ba yan?
Na-report. Po.
Siyempre, normal yan. Hanggang ngayon, normal siya. Kasi, di ba, hindi naman kasi lahat merong experience na mag-work, di ba? So, hindi natin alam kung ano yung expect natin usually. Kung ano ba yung ginagawa talaga nila. Parang nag-explain lang ako kung ano yung experience ko. Pero hindi ko naman sinabi kung ano yung actual na ginawa ko, di ba? So, hindi siya i-expect from you. Actually, pagpasok mo sa office, madaming magtuturo sa'yo. And minsan, or madalas actually, excited pa sila magturo sa'yo. So, hindi ka dapat mag-worry dun sa baka mali yung gawin mo kasi mayroon at mayroon magtuturo sa'yo at mayroon din magre-review ng gawa mo na sabi sa'yo na kung tama ba yan or kung ano ba yung dapat. So, nung nag-start ako, mayroon akong mentor, ganyan, na nung sinabak niya ako dun sa hindi ko alam kung ano na-expect ko, parang general idea lang ako. So, parang saan, dun ako natuto. Dun sa on-the-job na, nag-start na ako. Minsan, kung medyo maaga yung pasok, may time para mag-undergo ng training, ganyan. Pero, ayun, kahit anytime ka pumasok nun sa work, mayroon nagtuturo sa'yo. Ayun.
Thank you po.
Welcome. Sige guys, kaya niya yan.
Anybody else? Habang nandyan siya, no? Habang nandyan si Miss Des Nazarrea. Yan, si Mr. Medina. Yes.
Hello po, Miss. Ask ko lang po kung nung nag-start po kayo nung nag-start po kayo mag-work, hindi po ba kayo like na-assign to do just one job? Like say, nag-bookkeeping lang po muna kayo for a couple months and then saka kayo nag-move on to auditing, ganun po.
Hindi. Well, mayroong cases na ganun. Especially if magpa-private practice or private organization. Kasi usually set lang yung kung ano yung kailangan mong gawin doon. Pero kapag nag-public practice ka kasi, usually madami kang i-handle. Minsan may cases na parang isang account lang yung handle mo, parang accounts receivable lang, ganyan. Pero hindi siya set na ito lang yung gagawin mo for this amount of time. Usually, ito yung client mo for 1 month or 2 months. Ganyan. Pero hindi siya one thing lang, bookkeeping lang. Parati kang mayroong ma-experience sa ibang bagay. So, kung ang worry mo ay hindi mo ma-experience sa ibang bagay, huwag ka mag-alala. Nasagot ko ba yung tanong mo?
Yes po, thank you.
Welcome. Tulog ba ako sa klase? Ganyan. Oo naman. Pagalitan ba ako ng Oo naman. Bumagsak ba ako ng course? Oo naman.
Ako, may question ako, ma'am.
Yes po.
I made the students, pinagawa ko sila ng SWOT analysis nila, no? Personal SWOT. And most of the time, nailagay nila is procrastinating. What will be the effect of procrastinating once they become a CPA or an accountant?
Ako din, guilty din ako na procrastinating ako. Pero kasi, especially kapag nag-work na kayo, wala namang ibang gagawa ng work kundi kayo. Or wala namang ibang mag-take na exam kundi kayo. Kayo at kayo lang din ang gagawa nun. The problem with procrastinating is, kapag hindi mo siya ginawa early on, yung activities mo, magpapile up lang siya at mas hirap siyang tapusin. Kaya, it's always best to have a routine na ng studying routine, ganyan. Kung maghalap ka ng 1-2 oras sa isang araw na mag-study ka lang. Kasi, kailangan mo pa ding malaman or matutunan ng subject na yun. Pag hindi ka natutunan sa subject, babagsak ka. Diba? Matatanggal ka sa accountancy. Hindi ka makakuha ng board exam. Sad. Diba? Sa work naman, kapag nagpapasalik ka, follow up ka ng boss mo, ganyan. Asa na yung ganito? Ba't wala pa? And mag-reflect yun sa performance. And sa promotions, ganyan. So, it's always best not to procrastinate. Although guilty din ako din. Kasi minsan nakatamad, diba? Yan naman talaga. Kailangan na i-balance. So, time management is key. Ayun. Sige guys, tanong pa kayo.
Anybody else? You may ask her.
Mag-love life ba ako? Ay, meron ako. Kasi may kwento ako. Ang sabi nila, kapag mag-board exam ka daw, huwag ka daw magkakaroon ng bagong jowa. Or huwag ka makakipag-break sa jowa mo. Kasi, kapag nagkaroon ka ng bagong love life or nakapag-break ka, di ba, sad ka dun sa, sad ka dun sa love life mo. Hindi ka makapag-focus sa studies mo. So, kailangan steady lang kapag ng exam. So, kung makikipag-break ka, or magkakaroon ka ng bagong kailangan after na ng exam. Or after ng review. Review muna. Okay lang naman mag-job.
Baliktad tayo, Tess. Ako naman, nung board exam ako na nagbalik. After ng board, back to normal.
Mahirap yun. Pwede ba mag-jowa? Nagkaroon ba ng jowa? Ganyan, ano naman.
Anybody? Maraming questions pa na pwedeng itanong.
Mahirap ba yung exam? Oo naman.
Kasi if you're hiding your questions, kung medyo nag-aalangan kayo magtanong, matagal pa ulit bago kayo magkaroon ng opportunity to ask a question like that, no? So, take advantage of it. Yun yung tip ko sa
O kaya i-chat nyo kay prof nyo, kung ayaw nyo sabihin sa akin. Pero mas friendly naman ako kasi sa kanya. Nakakapag-games ba ako nung nag-review? Hindi. Pero, mayroong isang nag-top notcher ng board exam na naglalaro pa din siya. Pero nag-top notcher siya.
Ano yun? Abnormal yun eh.
Oo, abnormal yun. Pero, ayun, mahirap mag-games kapag nag-review. Yung review yung pinaka-crucial period.
Ako, mag-additional insight ako, no? Regardless if you're planning to take up accounting or engineering or even law, no? Pare-pareho lang sila ng career paths. The problem will be is that gaano ka ka-effort. Kasi continuous training yan, continuous professional development or yung CPD nga na pinasimula ni Senator Trillanes. No? It's a good way for you to keep learning. Kasi hindi pwedeng katulad ni Miss Des, no, CPA siya and among other titles, okay na ako, kontento na ako sa titles ko. Kontento na ako sa natutunan ko. Remember, learning is forever. No? Hanggang sa huling hininga mo, you need to keep learning. Yun lang naman sa akin.
Oo, totoo yun. Kasi ako hanggang ngayon, nag-aaral pa din ako kasi kailangan ko mag-exam this year ulit. Kaya kung doon sa start, di ba, may nakita ko yung parang extensions ng pangalan ko. Ayun, kailangan constantly nag-aaral pa dun. Kasi, isa-state ko ngayon hindi ko pa na-consider yung sarili ko as an expert. Kasi madaming magaling, madaming mas maraming alam. So we have to continuously strive to be better and to learn more and to know better. And hindi lang siya para lang for the sake of taking the exam. It's for us to actually know or understand. Minsan kasi may nagtitake lang ng exam tapos hindi naiintindihan, di ba? Ako na yung subject na pinakayaw mo, inaral mo lang pero di mo naman gusto.
Wala ka ba balak mag-law?
Wala. It's actually one of the most fun subjects that I took when I was in undergrad. Fun because fun yung prof. He was an old professor na ang galing niya magturo. Pero ang galing niya magturo kaya siya fun. And parang simplify niya yung concepts about law. Kaya kami nag-enjoy. Pero hindi ko siya gusto as a profession. Pero preference ko yun. Siyempre, mayroong iba na gusto din mag-law after ng school or after ng undergrad. And CPA or accountancy is actually one of the best law or law prep courses. Kasi you get to take four subjects of law. And lahat yun magagamit mo when you take up law if you ever want that. Kahit di ka mag-CPA, okay lang.
Speaking of nakalimutan nila tanongin. Speaking of hindi ka mag-CPA, ano naman yung career opportunities para dun sa mga those who decided not to take the CPA or those who did not pass?
For those who did not get the licensure exam, there's actually for public practice, you can still go into public practice even if you are not a CPA, although it's preferred. Kasi parang siya makakount siya as basic competency requirement, yung licensure exam. Pero, so you just can't do external auditing. You can go into taxation or advisory services. Kasi parang consulting services kasi yun. And that would not require a license from you. Pero yung kasi yung public practice, yun, required talaga kasi by law, kailangan yung gagawa ng financial audits are CPAs. And then there's always yung opportunities sa private companies. Actually, yung certifications and licensure exams, mas hindi siya tinitingnan when you go into private practice. Kasi sa private practice, mayroon kang set activities that you would have to do. So, hindi required na may license. Although, it's a good, good thing to have. Pwede siya required. So, may kasing construction dito sa amin. Yes!
About po dun sa school sa university that you went to po, did it like influence yung decision of the organization that hired you?
Partly. Mayroon pa din preference for graduates from UP, especially UP. Malaki yung sweldo ng mga kapag-galing ko sa UP as compared to other states. As in, parang if you would go to UP, diligawan ng firms yung UP grads, even if hindi sila top-notchers. Magaling sila. Kasi some of my friends are actually graduates of UP. Or some of my cold friends of UP. Magaling sila. Kaya nililigawan talaga sila. Same goes for graduates of LaSalle. And also yung UST din. Kasi ang dami din yung parang minsan parang 300 plus passers. 80% passing ganun. So merong minsan may bias talaga from graduates of those schools. Pero hindi siya ano siya it's a step in the door. Pagdating mo sa organization, hindi na nila titingnan yung grades mo. Titingnan nila yung performance mo. Kung ano na yung ginawa mo dun. So, hindi na nagmamatter kung anong score mo sa board exam, kung ano yung grades mo sa school. Ang importante, yung performance mo pag nandun ka na.
Thank you po.
Ano, sir? Yan na.
Oo nga, 10 na. Sige, ako may question ako. I saw that you graduated from Miriam, and there are a lot of aspiring female accountants here in the class and on the other class as well. So, ano lang, for the all girls, how was the atmosphere? No? Kasi I'm not sure kung meron sa St. Paul or sa Saints ko, as well as Miriam. No? How was the atmosphere? Was it intense or okay lang, chill lang ang mga girls?
Chill lang. Okay lang. Fun naman. Hindi siya, or hindi ko alam kung ano yung perception nyo with all girls, ganyan. If you would go into all girls. Pero in college in general, okay lang. Parang you go there, make friends, study together. I'm not sure. Sa akin kasi, is experience ko, mas, siguro kung all girls ka, mas free ka to do anything. Natutulog kami sa corridor, natutulog kami sa floor, sa locker rooms. Kasi, parang wala kaming inisip na parang, ay, baka may makita sa ating boys, baka jahe, baka hindi cute, ganyan. So, siguro that's one pro for exclusive schools. Kasi we can be ourselves, we can be the empowered women leaders that we are without parang yung hesitation na baka hindi ako cute kapag ginawa ko to. So, parang wala nag-makeup, ganyan. Kasi hindi mo kailangan magpaganda kasi hindi mo magpapaganda. Unless girl din yung type mo, which is okay lang. Pero, ayun, chill lang.
Kayo lang, no pressure.
Oo. Sigawan kayo sa class, okay lang.
Pero nung nasa office ako, yung accounting department, puro na nga lang babae. Tatlo lang siguro kami lalaki, pero todo routine pa rin sila.
Baka choice na nila yun. Pwede na magpaganda. Hindi, kasi work na yun. You have to present yourself in a way that people would respect you. And, syempre, hindi pwedeng mukha kang gusto.
So, that's another tip sa mga ladies. You must present yourself. You must look, hindi naman yung todo makeup or filter. At least you must look presentable. Lalo na kung nakaharap kayo sa mga clients.
Especially when it comes to clients. Siyempre, makasulubong yung boss mo. Makasulubong yung president of the company. Sabihin yung gusto naman ito. Hindi naman. Pero ayun, hindi siya requirement. Some people actually can go into the office, wala nang ayos-ayos, ganun. It's okay. It's just nice. It's also a preference.
Meron sa isang class, she wants to take up MBA, and I think here sa section na to meron din. Why did you decide to take the FBA? Sabi mo kasi medyo parang out of line or something.
Oh, um, okay. So for me, actually nabore lang ako. Kaya ako nag-take ng MBA.
Ayos
Kasi,
na.
hindi kasi meron ako exam na kinuha. It's actually the exam that I wanted to take ever since I was still studying accountancy. Undergrad pa lang ako. It's a certification that I wanted to take. It's the Certified Information Systems Auditor. It's hard. And then after that, kapag nag-stop kang mag-aral for a time, it feels weird kapag hindi ka nag-aaral. And so one of my friends actually started taking up MBA. So I thought na, bakit hindi? Wala namang mawawala if you take an MBA degree. Especially, I mean, we are in the line of business. So it's a natural progression. And a lot of the topics that are covered in MBA or a lot of the subjects there, natutunan mo na siya before. Karamihan ng subject sa accountancy, yun din yung subject sa MBA. If not all. Actually, I think lahat nga yun na-cover during accountancy undergrad. And that's also one of the good things about accountancy. So, for me, during that time, kasi madami kami activities sa office na allowed me to parang practice public speaking, ganyan. Actually, I'm very shy. Pero since na-practice ako na may pag-usap sa ibang tao, ganyan. So kaya I gained a little bit more confidence in that. MBA is actually a good place to practice that. Kasi a lot of activities, if you take up MBA, magsasalita ka in front of an audience, in front of the class. Almost every week, mayroong presentations. Kaya napapractice talaga yung public speaking, communication skills. Also, siyempre time management, ganyan, research. Pero yun, for me, that's one of the benefits. Kasi you don't always get that opportunity when you're working. You don't always get to be trained to speak with other people. For other people, it's a way to expand their network, gain new friends. For me, it's training. Kaya wala akong masyadong friends.
Na-culture shock din ako dyan. Yung Queen-Act, Man-Act. Pero may take mo ng 10 weeks or 15 weeks.
Diba? So, yun. So, meron akong advantage na hindi ko masyadong ginamit nung pumasok ako MBA. Pero yun, hindi ako nag-financial accounting nung pumasok ako MBA. Kasi for the school that we went to, mayroon parang qualifying exam. Na if ipasa ko yung parang qualifying exam, hindi ko na kailangan i-take yung financial accounting na course dun sa MBA. So, tinake ko yun parang. Alam ko na yun. Thanks. Nakita ko nag-clap. Ayun.
Last question na lang, no, bago natin pakawalan si ating guest speaker. I think she still have work. Meron ka pa bang work for now?
Actually, kaka-login ko lang sa her.
Okay. So, anything else? If not, no, thank you, no, Miss Des. If for those who don't know, she was actually a classmate of mine during masters and grad school. Ilang subjects kaya yun? Parang mga 4 or 5. So, she has a lot of knowledge. Yeah, I think Ecoman, Strama nag-drop ko eh. Opeman, not sure kung Finman pati. Yeah. So, mga 3 to 4 subjects. So, any further questions, you can forward to me and then I'll just forward to her if she can give you some of her insights. No? Also, aside from our guest speaker today, you may also ask your relatives who are CPA or accountants about their career path. Ano yung mga nangyayari? Feel free to ask because most of the time, the people you want to ask are willing to give their advice kasi they want what's best for you. No? So, yun lang naman po. Thank you, Miss Des. Have a wonderful day.
Okay. Thanks
Pwede ka na
everyone.
mag-work. Pasensya na
Pwede
sa
na ako mag-work.
bala.
If may questions kayo, actually, minsan yung mga students na kung saan ako nag-talk before, doon sa mini-message nila ako sa Facebook. So, kung may questions kayo, tapos ayaw yung tanong sa class, pwede yung tanong kay sir kung ano yung Facebook ko, chat niya lang ako.
Bibigay ko yung Facebook mo. Malay mo, may mga secret admirer ka sa class.
Kids.
Thank you, Miss Des.
Okay, bye guys.
Okay. Okay. So we still have a spare of 20 minutes. So you can ask me until the asynchronous activity kung ano yung mga questions nyo regarding the quarterly assessment. You can show, sir, ito yung gawa namin. Okay na po ba to? Ano pa ba? Nasa field kasi ako ngayon. So another is yung merong mga apat pa na hindi nakapagpasa sa akin ng personal picture nila para meron tayong class pick. I know na wala tayong physical class right now. So yun yung ginagawa ko right now para meron tayong in a way a souvenir. No? So any questions habang we still have 17 minutes. I'll just be here.
Sir,
Yes, Mr. Medina.
yung assignment tabs po para sa PETA.
Hindi siya mag-on. Sige, i-ano ko siya, activate ko siya ulit. Baka napindot ko siya as lock. Yung yung quarterly assessment, feel free to consult, sir, kung para hindi na yun. So, nagpadala na si Mr. Patricio. I-edit ko mamaya para tapos na tayo. Ay, ikaw pala yun, nasa swimming pool, no? And then yung meron pang tatlo, I think si Miss Reyes, si Miss Gonzalez, forgot the other one. I check ko. Parang si Silva yata yan. So, yun. I hope you learn a lot from the speaker. It's a different insight. Tomorrow I will upload naman yung para sa Haro na speaker. Iba naman yung speaker niya kasi our speaker for today is someone who started sa CPA and then she chose a different career path. Hindi naman sa chose, but minsan kasi yung opportunity na nandyan. Whatever's in front of you, you will take it. Meron demand, let's say, for fintech, you can take it. Huh? Pero if you will still want to practice the profession of CPA per se or accountancy, then that's also good, no? Anything else? Meron pa tayong 15 minutes. Assignment tab. I'll just be here, no? I'll just be here, or you may just message me kung medyo ilang kayo magsalita. May picture ako kasi parang yung exam nyo, yung mukha nyo dun sa exam, medyo stress na. So, okay. Ayusin ko na lang ulit later. So, I think meron akong picture ng Haron na nagkamali ng post sa inyo ko na-upload. So, you saw it. Yun na yung parang pinaka-performance task ko sa sarili ko for the class. For Zamboanga and Cotabato. Okay lang. Check ko yung assignment tab. Yung tatlong magta-take ng engineering, no? Actually, Miss Des already covered the topics. So, naiba lang is the degree. Pero in terms of work experience, ganun pa rin naman eh. You still need to rise. Paano yung industry analysis? For now, you just focus for the Porter's 5 forces. Nag-send na ako ng sample. Teka, kanino ko ba sinend? Forward ko rin sa inyo, no? Also, meron yata doon sa PowerPoint. Yung Porter's 5 forces, yung high, moderate, and low. Teka. Ayusin ko yung assignment para makapag-submit. So good luck to you, Zamboanga and Cotabato. Tomorrow, meron kayo nung, what do you call that? Sigma, if I'm not mistaken, yung Singaporean math.
Singa po.
Singa, okay. Singaporean math certification. No? So, take it seriously. I think magandang factor yan to gauge your knowledge in mathematics. Medyo kinalawang lang ako pero I also experienced 10 mathematics subjects. Yun nga lang, puro stress lang ako. No? Hindi ako matalino. Wait lang. Check ko nga yung assignment. So, we were supposed to do the PETA pero of course, medyo I'm sure busy rin kayo. Pare-pareho tayo busy. So, you can just submit a video form. Nasaan na ba yun? Tap Econ. Ayun, no? So, eto na, papalitan ko na yung time. Nag-close, no? Sorry. So, you may submit it until 28. Oh, ako pala magtatanong, no? Ako pala may sasabihin, sorry. So, regarding the quarterly assessment, nabanggit ko na Monday. Ayan, assignment change. No? So, you can submit it until April 28. Tatanggalin ko na lang yung close mamaya kasi nasa labas lang ako, no? Also, for the QAS, the deadline is on 25 nung PowerPoint presentation para kung meron mga errors, I can still check them. And then for the presentation itself, parang nabanggit ko is 26 the next day. 10 ba yun? I think 10 o'clock yun na ilagay ko dyan sa, kindly check na lang. Ano pa ba? May 12 minutes pa tayo. We still have 12 minutes. Merong question, I think. Wala. Anything else? Hindi ako pwede magpa-out kagad, no? So, kung meron pa kayong maisip na question, just inform me para makasagot ako. For now, it's been a roller coaster ride for us. Grade 11, Zamboanga and Cotabato. As you all know, this is my first year teaching the subject. So, malaki talagang adjustment for me and also for you, no? Kasi first time na magkaroon tayo ng online class. No? Kumbaga, last year was the first time na meron tayong synchronous and asynchronous activity. Of course, it has affected the dynamics of the classroom. Pero, this is the best alternative. Kaysa naman wala talagang school altogether. So, yun nga, no, as per the speaker, learn what you want to learn. Iba kasi yung learn sa study. You study, it's study. Kailangan mag-aral ka. So, it's also a factor. Pero learning pa rin, essentially. Yung mga tinuro ko sa inyo, siguro next year, kakalimutan na yan, the next few years. Pero yung mga learnings, siguro meron na kayong mga pamilya, meron na kayong mga anak, you may still remember, you may still recall what you learned. Not just from me, also from your professors, teachers, your future boss, and even your loved ones. Lagi tayong natututo. No? Supposed to be I'm going to discuss socioeconomics pero hindi na siya, no? There's not enough time kasi medyo mahaba yun, 4 chapters yata yun. And I decided to incorporate it to the quarterly assessment itself. So if you have time to read the book, please read the book. Malaking tulong yung subject, malaking tulong yung book sa atin. Ano pa ba? Yung mga kulang sa requirements, please submit. No? Ayoko naman kasing mamilit ng bata kung ayaw talaga magpasa. Pero of course, it will be much better if you will submit your requirements. Kasi kami, no, yung kung ano man yung grade na nakalagay nyo, it's just based from your efforts. Hindi naman ako pwede magbigay ng, let's say, 100 kung wala ka namang pinasa. And I cannot give someone a grade of 75 dun sa nagpasa naman ng complete effort and he or she has good grades. Ano pa ba? Medyo freestyle tong lesson ko ngayon. So, again, regardless of what are your future plans, which I heard, SWOT matrix nyo. No? Just pursue it. Just do it, sabi nga ng Nike. Kasi kahit magaling yung guest speaker, even if I gave some advice, kayo pa rin ang gagawa ng decision making. You know yourself better than I ever will. Or even your parents. Kayo nakakakilala sa sarili mo. So far, yun lang naman. I'll just keep the communication lines open. Ano pa ba? Paki-check na lang kung naka-upload yung sample PowerPoint presentation. Wala na, na-cover na natin lahat. Kasi yung chapters 11, 12, 13, 14 to 17, it's already incorporated. Hindi lang halata. Naka-incorporate na siya dun sa ating quarterly assessment. So, yung QAS nyo, I'm not sure if you will be able to use it to on your NTRAF subject. So hopefully, please continue the social enterprise. I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for course requirements. Pero malaking tulong yan. It will serve as a foundation. Maybe hindi nyo siya magamit next year, or maybe not now, not within 5 years. Someday, magamit nyo yung idea. And it will help a lot, not just you as a businessman, but also sa community. 5 minutes to go now. So, check ko nga kung may question. So far, wala naman. Yung mag-speaker tomorrow for Haro, I will share the video to you. And ganun din yung today, yung si Miss Des, I'll share her videos to the other section. So don't worry. Ano pa kaya? Did I miss something? Paki-message lang ako, baka may nakalimutan ako banggitin. Five minutes na lang naman, pero still, ano pa ba? So for me, for my self-reflection, sabi nga nila, no, learning isn't easy, but teaching is also hard. Pero yung passion, it's all about the passion. Kasi in terms of salary, let us acknowledge na hindi ganun kalaki ang sweldo ng teacher compared to your entry-level accounting job. At meron kayo nakalimutan itanong, no? Ano yung starting salary kay Miss Des? Ako magtatanong sa kanya. Pero some of you said 30,000, 25,000, then that's fine. Kung yun yung iniisip yung salary. So, teaching and learning isn't easy, pero ano yan fulfillment yan. Motivation. Umiyak na bata, no? So, it's for teaching, for motivation and fulfillment, no? Siguro, hindi ganun kalaki yung sweldo ni Sir, pero fulfilled naman siya. He's in a better place. malalampasan nyo kami, mga teacher. You will do better than we did. Pero, in a way, we will always remember our students. So, kahit na binata ako, even if I'm a bachelor, marami akong anak. No? So, one of which is you, Sambuanga and Cotabato. Meron na kagad akong 33 students. And then for the other section, 39. So, 70, at least 70 students. Yung mga ulitin ko lang, yung mga naka 75, please submit yung mga requirements nyo para hindi magbago isip ko. Ay kompletuhin yung requirements kasi if not, I'll just give you the grade based on your outputs. So, no isang araw may nagsabi, sir, hindi ako nakapag-long test. Oh, alam ko. No? So, try to submit. And nag-submit siya, kakapasa ko lang sa kanya ng grade. So, yung effort yun yung at the end of the day, sabi nga ni Miss Des, if you procrastinate, pwede naman. No? But, at the end of the day, matatambakan ka eh. Until such time, sabi mo, ayoko na. Hindi ko na kaya. Ang daming pinapagawa. Pero, yes, it's true. Maraming pinapagawa. Not just on this subject, but also on other subjects. Pero, according to our guest speaker, wala pa yan sa kalingkingan nung work duties mo once you become an accountant or once you become a manager of a company or once you become an engineer. Kung ano pa man yung gusto yung tahakin yung na career path, chicken feet pa to. So this will also serve as my final lesson here in Pasig Catholic College. Sa inyo, no? Sa inyo. Regarding next year, depende pa. It depends. I'll just wait for the decision of the management. Hopefully, I get repeated. Though, meron na akong lessons during Saturdays. So, I'll be handling another school. College naman. So, again, no, kahit hindi ko na kayo student next school year, you are free to ask me. No? Kung ano ba yung mga gusto nyong i-clarify, I'm just there. No? It's part of operation. Siguro ang request ko lang sa inyo na once you become employees in your own right sa future work ninyo, you will also keep your lines of communication open. Na tipong anytime, as long as you are awake, you can reply to those who need your help ASAP. And with that, this is the end of the lesson. Ms. Almendares, kindly lead the closing prayer. Almendares? Wala. No? So wala. So ako na lang. No? Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. That in all things, God may be glorified. So, sige, malaya na kayo nun, Sambuanga and Cotabato. You may do what you want. Pwede pa rin kayo magtanong later sa asynchronous. So, best of luck